Hey guys, welcome back to the Beautiful Day podcast. I'm Micah.
And I'm Faith. I feel like something else I wanted to talk about is how social media political activism has gotten so big in the past few years.
Yeah. I think from my perspective, as like a Black woman, like the Black Lives Matter movement has kind of just been all over the place, and different people's perspectives on that, and like how they want to help, and how what they might want to do might not actually be helping. It's the whole thing. But also like all the abortion conversations as well. That's a huge thing.
Women have been losing a lot of rights lately.
Yeah.
But
but like from my perspective, that's kind of like where I like think about it. Like going back to 2020 when the like Blackout Tuesday thing happened and the Black Squares. Like
2020
was.
Sheesh, I didn't realize that was that long ago.
It feels like a long time ago. It also feels like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
it's wild. But yeah, I just like a lot of people that I knew. First of all, let me preface with the fact that I was off of social media for like 2 weeks while all of that stuff happened. So I didn't even know that all the protests and stuff, I didn't even know for a while. And I hop back on and I see all these Black squares and I see people talking about how like it's actually breaking the algorithm for what it was supposed to be used for. And like I'm a Christian, I grew up Christian, and like a lot of people that I follow are also Christian, and so like seeing them try to put their best foot forward and like post a Blackout Square with like a caption that was supposed to be like helpful or like in solidarity, which like yes, we appreciate your solidarity 100%, like thank you for being in solidarity with us and like talking about how injustice is wrong. It's clearly wrong, but also like you have to do more than that, and I don't think a lot of people are willing to do more than that. They just posted the square. Even on people's Instagrams now today, there's still just a square on there, and I'm like, you could take that down. Like, because now it's a negative image for someone like me who sees that and sees how it's not actually very helpful. Like, it might be for your following that might be conservative and just like have no idea what's going on, because some people actually just don't know what they don't know, and that is what it is.
Yeah.
But also like you could take that down because like it's 2 years ago and like so much has happened since then that doesn't need to be up there anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like the real reason why a lot of people still have it up and why they wouldn't delete it is because they think that it gives off this sense to people like, I care about this. And maybe it's more of an ego thing than them actually caring about it.
I definitely would agree with that, like 100%. Like it's about like just being like, oh, by the way, I guess some people put the Black Lives Matter card in the bio.
It's called, isn't it called virtue signaling?
I don't know.
I think it's called virtue signaling.
I don't know. But I mean, it would make make sense. Like, oh, like trying to seem like they're the best. Yeah, that makes sense. They're trying to make it seem like they're the best person, like that they actually are better than like what they seem to be. Like, I can think of a lot of people off the top of my head who like always would make sure that people knew that they were activists or that they were fighting something. Like,
I feel like everyone knows those types of people.
Yeah, but it's just like make themselves look better.
I mean, what do you think is better, to not say anything or to be like that? Or is there an in-between?
I think if you're going to do that, if you're going to say anything, make sure that you're saying the right things. Like, have a conversation, like, in this case, like, if you're going to have a conversation about Black Lives Matter movements and, like, police brutality, which is a whole other conversation, and all that stuff, have a conversation with a Black person. Like, because, first of all, like, okay, I'm like on 5 different wavelengths right now. First of all, it's not a Black person's job to educate you. Like, it's just not. Like, you can look up a lot of things by yourself. If you come to me and ask me when the Civil War ended, I'm going to look at you and say, you have a phone. You actually have something that is electronic to look up that. Like, why are you asking me? It's not my job to educate you on issues that Black people face or people of color face. It's just not my job. So that's one thing. But also, if it's not a basic question like that, if you're actually asking a question about like how you feel or what would I prefer as a Black person for you to do, that's a great question. And most Black people like won't say no to answering that question.
Mm-hmm.
At least the ones I know. So, like, you can have a conversation if they're a nice person, a normal person who actually wants to see social change. Have a conversation with that person and see what they would want you to do. Some people are like, yeah, put that Black Lives Matter card in your bio.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Like, and then you can say, yes, this is not everything that I can do, but I've had a conversation with someone who said that this would be a really good way to do this, or a really good way to like advocate, and so this is what I did. Is there something else that you would like for me to do also?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you're doing something that's impactful.
Yeah.
But it's also like not just, oh, I think that I should do this because, and then it's not really making a difference.
Because I feel like some people see like the social media posts as helpful and spreading word, and then some people are just like, it doesn't even make a difference. Like, actually try to lobby for something, or actually try to do that. And I feel like there's not really any right answer.
There is, yeah, it's very individual based.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah.
Like, because I guess I'm kind of thinking more about like the abortion thing, because that's what I can more personally relate to, obviously. But like, I feel like I liked seeing the social media posts, and I felt like that was spreading the word.
Yeah.
But I can see how some of that, like, I don't know, if the Black Lives Matters like posts would be seen as still spreading the word, or more just like unhelpful.
Yeah.
And people jumping on a trend, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I think all of it's low-key jumping on a trend.
Yeah.
Like, that's why whenever I would say anything about abortion, I would be like actually trying to vocally say something instead of it being just like something that's typed out. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Because then your voice is actually being heard and it's like actually out there.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I feel like I see that you do that. Like, you make videos about it and try to like educate people about it. Yeah. And I don't necessarily make videos, but I feel like I'll put my own text on it. Like, I won't just repost a post.
Yeah, like you'll add something.
Yeah, or I'll get my own screenshots from articles and post that instead of just, you know, reposting someone's Instagram photo.
Yeah.
But
because sometimes just posting the photo is important. Like, you never know. Like, even, like, going into, like, all the school shootings, like, there are so many times where I would just go on Instagram and then I would see that it happened, but I would not have heard about it until that point in the day, and it was, like, 7 o'clock at night, but it happened at 9 a.m. And I was like, oh, my God, what? Like, and then I would learn more about it from seeing that first initial post. So sometimes it is good, but then also sometimes it's like, yo, I've seen this 7 times.
Exactly.
And I would like, if you're going to post it, say something about it, you know?
Yeah, especially when you have a private profile and it's like the same people that probably have similar points of views as you. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Do you feel like most of the people that follow you probably have similar beliefs, or no? Because I feel like I graft more towards people that have similar beliefs as me.
Yeah.
So probably me posting about being pro-abortion is probably falling on, you know, not deaf ears, but people that agree, you know, versus like posting on a public profile where you have a bunch of followers or something.
Yeah.
Or I know, like, my boyfriend has more friends that are probably other political views as him. And if he posted about it, it might just be surprising to them, actually.
I'm friends with a lot of Christians, and a lot of them are. I also worked for like a company that like pull in a lot of conservatives, which to each their own. You know, like I'm not gonna tell you like, because if I can't change your mind. Like it's just not gonna happen. Like,
That's another conversation.
I can tell you my like opinion, but like if you're gonna stick with yours,
then
I'm not gonna waste my energy to change your opinion. But anyway. Whenever, like all the abortion conversations were happening, like, I very strongly pro-abortion. Like, because there's so many other factors people don't think about. Like, I get both sides of, like, oh my God, but, like, it's a life. Like, I understand the value of, I mean, most people understand the value of a life. But, like, the way I think about it is very different than a lot of people. So I can understand people are like, oh my God, what a life. But then I'm also, like, can we not talk about, or are we going to talk about the mother's life?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be pro-life, be pro-life. That's my thing. I'm like, if you're going to be pro-life, like, advocate for all the lives, not just the one.
Not pro-birth.
This is a long conversation on abortion.
Yeah, that could be another
that could be a
section.
whole other section. But yeah, like if you're gonna talk about it in a way that is pro-life, be pro-life for everyone. So when I say that I'm pro-abortion, like I understand, like being for the baby, and but I'm also for the mother, and that a lot of the times requires abortions to be legal and contraceptives to be legal, and
yeah,
a lot of other things. And people don't think about that.
And even with the recent thing where a bunch of Republicans voted against contraceptives, and obviously it didn't pass, but like that's just so crazy to me that it's clearly not about
like the health of
or like
life.
women in general.
Yeah.
It's not about women.
It's about,
and I feel like I'm pro-woman. I'm not pro-baby. At the end of the day, I will always choose the woman.
I mean, I'm always going to choose life. And if the life that's in danger is the mother, then we're going to do what we need for the mother.
Yeah.
She has an ectopic pregnancy. We need to get that baby out. The baby's not going to live anyway, really. Yeah. So it's just like, get the baby out. But like, also, if there's a mother who is like, I will sacrifice my life for my baby, and that's the request. Like, that's a really deep like scenario. But like, if that's their request and they're advocating for their baby, like, then, and I was a nurse or a doctor, I'd be like, okay, is that really what you want? And like, have a deep conversation about that, and then be for the baby. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But like,
yeah, I feel like you are definitely like, I feel like you probably care a little bit more about the baby than I do.
That's just because I see value in all life. I mean, not that you don't. Yeah. But like from like their perspective of like, I don't know, people always use this verse when they talk about abortion, which grinds my gears. But no, I can't remember it now. But it's a verse about like, oh, I formed you in your mother's womb. And like the fact that like I believe that God just completely like details your life and has a purpose in every single cell in your body. Like there's a reason for everything that happens. That's how my brain works, and so I see value in that baby's life, and I see like what that could become. But also like if the mother is in danger and she's already had life 28 years, and she has a husband or a partner or a brother or a mother that they have to, you know, like that's already a life that's on this earth.
What do you think about people that just are having them because they're not being safe? And maybe they've had a couple.
That's such a gray area, and like my brother and I were talking about that like a couple weeks ago, and I mean just be responsible first of all. Like if you know that you're going to have sex and it's going to be unprotected, and you don't want to have a baby, use Plan B. Yeah, very clearly, or have protected sex, or get on the pill, or an IUD, or something that if you know if you're not ready to have a baby and you need to like actually like you're not an adult basically. Yeah. If you're not an adult or you're not responsible and you can't do that,
but they're probably not responsible enough to get on IUD. So I feel like my opinion still at the end of the day is don't bring a child into the world if that's who you are in the first place. So I still am pro-abortion.
Yes. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
but I know a lot of people, that's their argument. Not yours, but I'm saying in general, pro-lifers or pro-birthers, I should actually call them, is their argument is, well, people just will use it as birth control. If they're using it as birth control, that's probably not a circumstance you want to bring a child into in the first place.
I mean, I think that you shouldn't be having, that should not be the way that you, like, prevent pregnancies.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, why are you going to take away everybody else's rights because of bad apples?
I mean, and that's, like, the thing about, like, us being humans is that there's always going to be someone who's literally psychotic.
Yeah, like, exactly. There will always be two ends of the spectrum.
Always. There's always going to be. Yeah, so it's like, I can, like, fit, like, on certain issues or, like, certain situations, I can fall right in the middle. Or on certain issues, I can fall right on the left. Or a little bit further right, but not, like, you know, like,
Like, are you judging them for getting multiple abortions? Maybe, but I would never take your rights away.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that I am, but I'm saying, like, no matter how much you judge somebody for what they're doing, maybe you judge someone that even got R-worded and for getting an abortion, and I still think that doesn't mean you take their rights away, even if you're judging someone for having a baby, or for not having a baby of an R word.
And also, like, at the end of the day, it's not your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone ever came up to me and really valued my opinion and said, should I get an abortion? I would say, personally, for me, in my situation, I could never imagine having an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
But I also wouldn't have sex in an irresponsible way.
Yeah.
Like, I would make sure that I would not have the baby at the time. But also, like, so that would be my opinion, but I'm also like, but also it's your life. You're going to make the decision for yourself. Like, I would never be like, oh my God, like, you can't have it. Like, never. Yeah. I literally could never. And also because that's not a way to love you. Yeah. Like, I'm a very, like, love first person. Mm-hmm. If the way you need me to love you right now is to sit with you while you're crying and during a painful abortion, I will. If what you need right now is for me to drive you to get an abortion, mm-hmm. I will. If what you need right now is for me to coach you on how to be a mother, even though I have no idea how to do that, but let's say hypothetically I could. Mm-hmm. If that's what you need from me, I will. Whatever way you need me to love you, I will. Because it's also not my life, and my job is to love people first. Like, it's not my job to tell you what to do. Because you're not going to listen also. Yeah. Like, it's not my job.
Yeah, that's the other thing. People are going to have them no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. So why take away a safe way to do it?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I hate when also one of the arguments is like, my right to throw my fist ends where somebody else's face starts. And it's like, okay, that other face is in your own stomach. Like, I'm sorry, but like, I don't know. I'm just like, stop. Because that is actually another thing. Like, if you're going to say that an unborn baby has rights, more rights than the woman to abort it, then what other rights are women going to be able to take advantage of now? Yeah. Let's see. What else? I don't know. It's just like, how are you already going to be women are already unequal. And then, so I remember what I was going to say. So in response to you saying, like, if my friend asked me, should I get an abortion? Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I also feel like I agree with you on, accepting anybody no matter what their decision is, because not everybody is as privileged as family-wise as, mm-hmm. let's say, you or I. Mm-hmm. Because whether I had a baby or not, I know that I would have my parents there to help. Yep. And I would be able to live at my parents' house. Yeah. I don't think everybody would have parents that, even if their parents were unhappy with their decision that they got pregnant, mm-hmm. I mean, whether they had it or not, doesn't matter. Probably parents are still going to be upset, whether you have it or not, that you even got pregnant in the first place. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe not us now that we're older, but you know what I mean. Yeah. My point is that some people, their parents would just kick them out at 18, and then imagine them getting pregnant. Like, they wouldn't have the support system. Yeah. That I know that I have, and it seems like you would have too if you did it. If you had a kid tomorrow. Yeah. You wouldn't be on the streets.
And also, like, we have, like, jobs, and we're, like, somewhat financially stable, if not very financially stable. Mm-hmm. So, like, it could work.
Yeah, I know. Like, would I have a kid? I wouldn't have a kid, first of all, because I'm on birth control. But second of all, if I did have a kid tomorrow, I could have a kid. Yeah, and you'd be okay. Yeah. It would not be my ideal situation, but I wouldn't be impoverished. My kid wouldn't, like, not live a good life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean,
and not everybody can relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And
like if you're living your college dorm.
Yeah, like that's a whole other conversation.
Imagine being in college
and having a child, and also like a lot of times in college your relationships fluctuate, and so they wouldn't have necessarily like both parents or even you to give them a full. And also like people have to go to classes with their baby sometimes, and the professors are sometimes not very nice about it. Yeah. So it's like the whole thing of just like navigating motherhood.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Non-supportive system. So
yeah, that's what also is so crazy when people say, "Oh, just have the kid." Do you not understand how much judgment mothers receive, especially teenage moms or young moms
Mm-hmm.
or single moms? Even if you're not a single mom and you have a husband,
Mm-hmm.
people are constantly saying to the mom, "Oh, where's your kid? Oh, where's your kid?" But they don't ask the dad that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I remember there was a girl at my high school that was like a grade or two older than me that was pregnant during school.
Mm-hmm.
And like everybody was secretly judging her. I mean, even I was like, it's not maybe mean judgment, but everybody has that subtle like that natural curiosity, like, oh my gosh, she's pregnant in high school. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember she even had it and like then had her kid come to some project presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, whoa, that's her kid. Like, it's not like they're being mean, but it's just all these eyes
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
interested.
And opinions that people don't
Mhm.
want. Yeah. It's a lot of, like, it's a lot of people putting their nose in stuff that they don't need to.
Exactly. And you know that the people that are pro-life are probably judging them along with it.
Absolutely. And they're like, yeah. Because, okay, even like saying, like, you're for the baby and it implies that you're not for the mother. It
Mhm.
implies that there's judgment cast on them for getting pregnant
Mhm.
in the first place. But also, like, you're trying to save a child that is going to be a better version of their mother, is going to have a better future, is going to make better decisions that are curated by what you think that you want them to look like.
Yeah.
It's kind of just the same thing of like, oh, people already having their child's life planned out for them with their conceived, basically, and not giving room for their child to grow and to make the decisions and to do like whatever, and then they get mad at their kid at 16 when they don't want to play football professionally or whatever,
Yeah.
or something stereotypical like that. Like, you're trying to create a child or let a child be born into the world that you can create their identity,
Yeah.
which is just not a real thing that you can do or that you should be doing in the first place.
Yeah. And even if you're taking the Bible at face value, like, okay, so you're going to have this mom have a kid unwed. Are you going to still judge her because she had, premarital sex as well? And it's just,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
At that point, so you may as well just have the choice to do whatever you want.
Yeah, and there's also like the whole story of the Bible where it's like the woman who was caught in bed with another man, and then they brought her to Jesus, and Jesus was like, they were like, Jesus, condemn her, like we should stone her, da 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 da. And Jesus was like, well, if none of you have ever done anything sinful, you can throw the first stone. And then no one clearly could, because everybody sins. Everyone does something that's a mistake. It's just...
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
why are you to throw the first stone or condemn someone or judge someone?
Yeah, that
if you literally have done something that is equally worse. Because also, people don't talk about the fact that, like, I saw a picture, it was like, just like a pie, not a pie chart, like a scale chart. It was like how we see sin. And then, like, sex is the highest one, and stealing is, like, a lower, whatever. But then how God sees it on top. It's a square for each one. It's equal the entire way around.
Yeah,
because sin is sin. So how are you going to say, oh, like, having premarital sex is, like, a horrible sin, but then also you're embezzling from your company?
Yeah.
It's still not a good thing. And, well, we can have a conversation about how sex works and good thing, whatever. But, like, in the eyes of the church or in the eyes of Jesus or however you want to say it, it's not a good thing.
Yeah. So speaking of which, you're a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And did you grow up a Christian your entire life?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I grew up a Christian. Well, I would say grew up in Christianity, but I would not say I was necessarily ever a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever really believed in God. I just grew up in that type.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my grandparents are pastors and stuff like that. But it does make me think what you just said about that, the not throwing the first stone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like Christians cherry pick which Bible verses they want to believe? Like, they want to believe, abortion is wrong, but then they don't want to believe necessarily that one.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And there's also so many translations of the Bible, and they get misconstrued in whatever. Like, people could use the King James Version to talk about one thing because it goes into detail and says a word that has a different definition, something else. But the NIV uses a little bit of different language and it means something different. People do that all the time. There's so many different translations. There's so many different ways to read the Bible, and that's a whole conversation about same-sex marriage and same-sex relations. Like the original translation of the verses that people use all the time, they're in reference to older men sleeping with children, younger boys, not same-aged men.
Yeah.
In sexual relations with one another, and that grinds my gears because people use those verses, don't know the context, give them extra context, and say that that's wrong. So you're not actually going to know what's right and what's wrong 100%.
What do you think? What do you think do you personally believe is right?
For what?
Well, I feel like you believe like love, that Jesus is love.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what you believe. What is your belief of God that informs your points of view on the Bible? And, you know, like, thinking gay rights is, you know, and like on gay rights. And
I mean,
stuff.
like, all of those conversations are complicated.
Yeah.
Like, very clearly, because, like I said, they're for each individual situation. Like, you can't equate one another. Like, it's just not, you just can't. But
I guess, like, what is God to you then?
I mean, God is love. God is a protector. God is a provider. God is a purpose giver, life bringer. Like, so many different things. God is a healer. God is also, like, God. And it's hard when you get in those conversations because, like, if God is love and Jesus is love, and we're called every day to walk more like Jesus, but you're spewing hate in someone's comment section, you're not being like Jesus, regardless of what you believe in. There's also conversations about truth. God is truth. Truth is in the Bible, as people have, like, that Jesus told them this and they wrote it down. And this is the truth that Jesus told them, or God told them, or God gave them this truth. But then you're using it in a malicious way. You're not acting like Jesus. There's a lot of it changes for every situation. But you can't cherry pick who God is to, like, say that you are right or to argue what you're saying. If God is everything I just said and more, then God is everything I said and more. And that's why everyone's going to fall short of being like Jesus, because you cannot be everything that Jesus was and more. You can't. You can't. There's just no way. Because you're always going to fall short on something.
So how do you think that you live like Jesus?
I mean, you try every day.
you try to do what every day?
I try to love every day. I try to listen every day. I try to be thankful every day and grateful every day. I try to be a good friend, a good daughter. I try to think of others. I try to literally just, like, be a good human, honestly, and give back to others what they give me, give back to God what He's given me. Like, because there's only so much you can do, especially while you're on Earth in a form that is just gonna get sick. It's gonna have hard days. It's gonna be tired. It's gonna be stressed out, have anxiety. So only so much you can do. But if you can do something every day that will show somebody the love of Jesus, that will show someone that Jesus exists, that will show someone God exists, not going on a mission trip, not throwing a Bible at someone, not throwing a verse at someone that is being used out of context, like truly living how Jesus would live, that's living like Jesus every day.
So, like, someone may not even know that you're a Christian, but you are.
Exactly. Or like I hope when I get in a relationship one day that they see my relationship and they say, I want that. Not even knowing that we're Christian. But just knowing, I want that. I want the love that they have because it's, like, so respectful. They clearly love each other. They're putting each other first. They're communicating well. They're all these things. I want that type of love. And then they come to us say hi, and we have a conversation, find out that we're Christian, and then they ask more questions about
stuff. So almost inviting people in, but not directly.
Right. Yeah, you should always be an example, basically.
Yeah.
Always be an example for people to see Jesus, even if they don't know if they're seeing Jesus. Basically. And people don't know how to do that. Also, traditional churches I believe, relationship over religion, because religion always is faulty, because it's man-made. Just,
What do you mean relationship over religion?
Like relationship with God
Okay.
over religion. Like religion, like
Yeah, like
also
just focus on you and God, and
yeah,
not, like,
and then it'll cascade down to the people that are around you. Once this is right, it'll cascade down.
mm-hmm.
But when you're in a religious context, when you're in a church that is extremely hateful, I could never be a part of a church that's extremely hateful, because you're not speaking, or you're not preaching, or you're not showing what the gospel is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not true. I always am just trying to be like Jesus and have a relationship with him, so that I know what Jesus is like, what God is like, so that I can give it to other people so they can see that example, and they can be curious about that example, and if they want to invite Jesus into their life, then they can.
Yeah.
Or if they're like, oh my God, like, I didn't know that this is what being a Christian could be like, and they ask me to pray for them. Of course I'll do that. You know, like, I'm not going to say no to that. But also, like, I'm not going to say, like, oh my God, Faith, like, I see that can I pray for you? No. Like, if you don't want that, I'm not going to shove it in your face.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I might pray for you silently by myself, and you would have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
But I would never just shove it in your face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it just, your heart posture matters the most when you do anything. So if your heart posture, if you're a pro-birther or pro-lifer, is literally just for power control, your heart posture is not correct for you to be loving people. If your heart posture for, like, sharing the black square on Blackout Tuesday was to bring awareness, then that's, like, it's okay, because you didn't know that you were doing harm, or might have been doing harm. But also, taking ownership for those mistakes, or those, like, things you don't know, learning them and fixing them is also another part of existing in this world. Like, you said something ignorant about a woman who just gave birth to a child, and you assume all these things, but you don't know her background. Apologize for it. Make up for it. Humble yourself.
Yeah.
And then learn more about other experiences. Because if you're putting one experience or one lens on everything, then you're going to get everything wrong.
Yeah. I feel like that's like kind of how you believe it as a Christian, and you kind of take in, you know, maybe that social media activism or how people are judging people. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I think of it similarly, but just not in the God sense. I feel like I think whatever your intention is behind, you know, maybe posting a black square or posting that. Mm-hmm. Your subconscious, your heart truly knows what your intention was, and that is either going to make you or break you. Yeah. And I think that if you're constantly doing it to virtue signal, it's just going to hurt you
eventually,
and it's not going to make you a better person. And that, period.
People are going to find out stuff about you down the line. So if you try it's going to be exposed later.
Yeah, and even if they don't, you still aren't living as happy of a life, you know, compared to somebody that has good intention behind it. Yeah. So I feel like, to me, it's just all about, like, your internal, like, what are you fostering, you know, happiness, or, you know, a happy, fulfilling life or not. And I don't necessarily think there's somebody that's looking at all of our decisions and judging them and that's gonna, you know, dictate what happens to you after you die. I just think it's all about, like, how happy are you gonna be?
Yeah, I mean, you only have one life. You gotta live it the way that you need to live it. And you should be living it. But that was a very long, probably discussion about social media activism. And we
tried to bring it back around at the end.
We tried to bring it back around. We hope you guys enjoyed that. And if you have any more questions or comments about anything we said, we want to keep the conversation going, you can always
check out our social media.
Check out our social media, messages, whatever you want. And we can keep talking about it. Or if you have anything else, like a subtext or subcategory that you wanted us to talk about, let us know.
See you guys.
Bye.